Hi out there, this is Cynthia Howard and welcome to my show. It's Freedom Cast. Today is Friday, October 18th, 2019. I'm glad you could join me for this broadcast and I hope you have a good weekend as well. It's supposed to be a nice one, so get out there and enjoy it. Well, we're going to be talking about another controversial subject, which is more of the norm than it is unusual. And that is, what do bookies, what do politicians, whether they be corrupt or not corrupt, taxpayers and children and students have in common? That's the latest New Hampshire lottery craze known as sports betting, which will come to a city or town near you. In fact, it will be on our ballot Tuesday, November 5th. Now, is it a coincidence that it just happened? No, it received the blessings of the New Hampshire Supreme Court, the enactment by the New Hampshire legislature by House Bill 480, the signature of Governor Sununu, and then it's on its merry way so that it will allow municipalities such as Claremont to put it on their November ballot on asking the voters the question whether or not they want sports betting in their city or town. So the question will be on our ballot Tuesday, November 5th, and I hope you answer no, as I will, because there's more of a downsize and more shadowy things that are at play with this than meets the eye. So it deserves a no vote as far as I'm concerned. And is it a coincidence that it came into New Hampshire? Did it just happen, just fly in and just people came up with the idea? No. It came from two of the biggest lobbyists for booking agencies in the country. One is DraftKings, the largest, and the second largest would be Fantasy Duel, owned by an Irish company, which places a lot of your sports betting entertainment throughout the country in different states and different locations. Now in New Hampshire they spent well over $46,000, which is a drop in the bucket for them because I'm sure these companies are worth millions of dollars and they can afford more than 46,000, but nevertheless, that's what it costs them to waive the money, spend the time with the New Hampshire legislature to make sure it got passed so that we would have the choice, and then if it's adopted in the local city or town, they would have more customers to make more millions of dollars, because that's what it's all about, the money, the power, and they hold the cards sometimes in front of the legislature and they waive them and it passes because they spend the time down there and the money. So we don't want this. We really don't. It's not a good thing. It hasn't been a good thing for years. We've had scratch tickets. We've had various lottery games, well over 80 in the state of New Hampshire, and it has done little for aiding education. It only designates something like 25% to the Education Trust Fund, even though the Education Trust Fund is built up, it is estimated this year at well over $1 billion. And so I'm sure it'll grow, but nevertheless, who funds these programs? The lottery customers, if they buy a lottery ticket, yes. But the majority of the funding, where does it come from? It comes from you and me, the taxpayers. 66% of your tax bill is designated for education, whether it's state education funding or local education funding. We pay the brunt of it, not the Education Trust Fund of the lottery. So even if they were to change the formula, which they won't, even if they were to increase the amount to designate in the lottery fund, which they won't, we will still be paying even more if they spend more. We're always going to be the ones that pay. We always have been the ones that paid since 1964 when the lottery began for the Education Trust Fund. And in Claremont, where I live, it's even worse because the largest employer is the school district. And that means we're funding a large company. And the more people that they add, the more we're going to have to pay because approximately 3/4 of the budget is for staff, for the employees. So is it any wonder why it is so large, why our tax bill is so high? So the lottery, the sports betting, is not going to make those taxes go down. In fact, it will be an incentive to spend more. So if anything, they'll be spending more, and the more they spend, the more we're going to pay. And in fact, it's going to be contrary because our taxes will probably go up. And with this sports betting, the starting bet is $20. So it's not your little lowly life lottery ticket that's plain and simple for $1 or $2 or another game that's a little bit more. The sporting bet starts at $20. So you're always waging and you're going to be paying another tax. It's basically what it is. So you're going to be paying for the sports betting if you play, plus your tax bill. So all the time they're making it sound like, well, it's going to education, but when you're playing, you're actually contributing to another tax in the state of New Hampshire and an incentive to spend more of your hard-earned tax dollars for maybe another program, maybe for more staff, to grow the education industrial complex, I call it, just like the military industrial complex. It's growing and growing at a faster and faster rate, and all they want to do is spend and tax. And that's a recipe for disaster for most of the taxpayers in the state, as well as towns like Claremont that are overtaxed to death. So the main thing is your taxes aren't going down with sports betting. If anything, it'll go up. And we are creating a culture of not only spending, but corruption and addiction, because many people will not be able to stop. Much like alcohol or drug abuse, they will continue to play over and over. Because these lottery games are so unlike the plain old simple paper ticket that you would pick up at the convenience store, because they're going to draw you in with flashy lights, lighted screens, and then there'll be mobile apps on your smartphone so you can push a button and there's your sports betting right there. They ask for you to start at $20. So in no time flat, you can eat up hundreds and hundreds of dollars and become addicted because it's right smack dab in your face, unlike going to the store and picking up a paper ticket. For people that aren't even interested, it's going to be flashy and it's going to be enticing, so they'll want to play. Just like when you log onto social media and people continue to be on it for extended periods of time because they get addicted to it. So will they with the sports betting. But with the sports betting, it's going to cost them more than just time. It's going to cost them a great deal of money, and it's going to do very little to reduce the budgets. And it's going to cost you more in taxpayer dollars because they're going to spend more money. That's what they're going to do. So the real question should be, do we lose our property to high property taxes, or do we lose it as collateral for the next gambling game known as sports betting? Because it's going to be one or the other, or maybe both, and I hope it's neither. And I hope that you wage, when you go into the polls on Tuesday, November 5th, that you will not allow this in your city or town, and that you will do the smart thing and vote no, because it's not going to get any better if it comes into being and if it comes into your town. In fact, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the whole thing is a farce. The whole thing is a fantasy, because the number of people that win, the amount of funding that goes into the education trust fund, the amount of money that spends is so much more than whatever they take in. It's ridiculous. It really is. And you know now what it's all about. And you know you have to go in and vote Tuesday, November 5th. And I hope you vote with me and vote no. Thank you for listening to my show. You can always contact me on the internet at cindycool09@yahoo.com or call me at 603-543-1372 or reach me on any social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. And I have a YouTube channel as well, CCL TV1 or Cynthia Howard, of course. And you can contact me on those platforms. You can also hear some of the broadcasts on YouTube or the social media or on my radio platforms, Spreaker.com, SoundCloud.com, or Podbean.com. So tune in and you might find a previous episode. And some of them are also on the newest platform, Spotify. So if you miss a broadcast, you can always find one on one of those platforms as well. We also have updates from our last show on the cashless society where I talked about cash makes more sense. I guess Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook hit a roadblock. His nonprofit group that started the digital currency known as Libra, which was going to be available on his site, Facebook, and other platforms, will not be taking off at such a rapid pace because MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal have pulled out. They're worried about privacy issues and money laundering, so they're really concerned, so they don't want to become involved in this. And I can't blame them because there have been a lot of privacy concerns with Facebook, with a lot of prominent conservatives being banned on their platform, as well as other people can hack into these systems, and it can be very, very dangerous. And censorship in itself is very, very dangerous. And on another broadcast, I talked about the assault on children and genderism and what is going on in our country. Well, with one of my connections, I had seen a report where a male rapist, because of his gender identity as a female, is being moved to a female prison. So that gives him much more opportunity to do whatever he wants to do, I guess. And it also is being done through the Justice Department because they don't want discrimination. But which is it? Discrimination? I would rather have discrimination any day over a criminal element because there's so many people using genderism to commit crime, such as in this case, and in pedophilia. So they're using it as a front, and it's disgraceful. It really is in this country to have things like this going on, and it shouldn't be allowed. Also, we don't have a sponsorship yet, hoping to have one soon. You can check out Cindy's Antiques and Collectibles to see if you would like to buy something that for a gift or something that you could enjoy and use new items, all kinds of collectibles and various items. And give me a shout out and message me and call me at 603-543-1372 if any of these products satisfy your needs or meet your eye, and we will get them out to you, or you can take a look at them here at my site. And again, thank you for listening. This is Cynthia Howard, and I hope you join me on another broadcast, which will happen very soon. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you.